I remember during the Gulf War, at nighttime, out on guard duty with a friend. We had been bombing Iraqi positions for 4 weeks now. And off in the distance, maybe 50, 100 miles away, you could see cluster bombs bursting on the horizon. They almost seemed to dance and sparkle like stars jumping up in the ground from a distance. I remember saying to my friend, there's a sort of beauty to it, isn't it? He said, yeah. It'd be even more beautiful if it wasn't people underneath that. After weeks of bombing, artillery fire, the American forces started to move forward toward Iraqi positions. It was at that time we realized, or came to understand, the results of all that beauty. There were hundreds of Iraqi soldiers wounded, traumatized. Some had been injured in vehicle accidents, burned, mental anguish, near starvation. We took dozens, hundreds of prisoners. And moments like that, when you are seeing people in that type of desperate situation, humanity can appear in you. You can feel sorry for them. You can empathize with their plight. But occasionally some scared Iraqi soldier is in a position and he fires on us. And all that humanity and care goes right out the window as we do everything we can to neutralize them. The thing about combat is action doesn't occur at all places at all time. Along a large sector, there could be intense combat, tense action, and other places along the sector, absolutely nothing is taking place. But it's during these moments that the fog of war settles in. It can be the most dangerous to a soldier. Even the most highly trained soldiers. I had almost 10 years in the Army at that point. Because of fatigue and stress, you can see things that are not there, or not recognize things that are. You step 2 feet too far, you drive 1 meter too much, you hit a mine, you're dead. You bend down at just the right time, you survive, you look up at another moment, you have a bullet in your head. Well, it was in one of these moments. I was sleep deprived. I hadn't slept in maybe 4 days. For some reason, me, a career soldier, I decided to put down my weapon and go out into the desert and take a little respite to relieve myself. I laid down my weapon, walked out about 20 meters, started to relieve myself when all of a sudden I noticed the ground in front of me was starting to move, and before I could react to it, 3 Iraqi soldiers jumped up out of position. They had a burlap bag over them with sand, and I hadn't seen it. They had to drop on me. This is how I'm gonna die? I left my weapon. Before I could say anything else, they dropped their weapons and they started reaching out to me. And they were crying, begging. And I could tell all they wanted to do was surrender. I marched them back to my unit, to be processed. Now, as a professional soldier, I could understand on some level why soldiers fight, why they continue to fight. And I can understand why a soldier may not want to fight anymore. But the thing that has troubled me, if I had been them in that fighting position, and I saw me walking up with no weapon, I would have shot me. And had I walked upon those three men, and I had my weapon, I would have killed them. Because that's what soldiers do. But I have dreamed, and I have hoped, and I have wished to this day that those three men went on to have a healthy, prosperous, and long life. That's that story.